Good morning, my beautiful and awesome crime family. It's been a couple of days now, huh? Oh, yeah, we got some things to talk about. Um, there's no doubt about that. Um, Transparency is going to be the subject today. But I want to go over a couple of things. I have to explain this each time because people do watch this that might not have been here. This is not live. It says it's live, but it isn't. And it's I do this so people can actually have live chat when the video's playing. Once the video's ended, there's no more live chat. Then it's comments. You can comment on the video. So that's why I don't say hi to people if you are in the live chat. That's why I don't see. I just say hi to everybody, my crime family, and which is a beautiful crime family. This is a great place to chat. Um, my mods are the best in the business, bar none. There's nobody like them out there. Um, and yeah, people like to steal my mods. They do. That's the behind the scenes stuff. But whatever. Anyway, um, what else did I want to go over? Oh, yeah, I do get questioned about my intro and why it's so long. And I do that for my crime family. And I hope you become part of this crime family and subscribe um, because that allows them to chat uh, before I show my ugly face. And, so become part of the crime family if you're not, and just give it a shot. If you've had bad experiences in other chat rooms, you won't hear. You won't get ganged up on. And if it does, I mean, they clamp down. My mods are really good. So um, you can feel free here. Transparency. In this case, what the hell is it? What the hell is transparency in this case? First thing I want to touch on is the gag order. Why this late in the case? They have what supposedly their man. Is it to keep? I mean, they're not giving any information. They've given some, but not all the information to the defense. They're not being transparent. And that's big red flags right there. That's big red flags. Look up gag order. And see what you get. Oh, of course, it disappeared on me. Okay, I'm gonna ask Google. Why do judges put gag orders on cases? They are often imposed against trial participants to prevent them from discussing materials relevant to the case outside the courtroom. Some view gag orders as violations of a person's First Amendment's rights, while others consider it helpful in ensuring a fair trial. A fair trial? A fair trial would be that the defense has all the information. How did they get Brian Kohlberger's name? How did they? Because now we know. We know. It was November 29th. It wasn't December, nothing. It was November 29th, if not before then. if not before then, because people have stated that too. Why and how? And why is this gag order on now? They got there, man. Why is the gag order on? Why? Doesn't make sense to me. This case really bothers me. You've seen me get angry. I'm going to try to stay away from that. It's not good for me. It's not good for my health. So I'm going to try to be a little mellower if I can. There's lots of things in this case. The whole Adam thing, you know. Would Maddie tell Adam everything? Steve says it's girl talk. Girl talk. So either he's being told a story, in my opinion, or he's not being transparent either. And which Adam was it? The Adam in the bar? Or the Adam that's got big connections to the cartel? Probably the one in the bar, since he was there. But there's also rumors, and I'm saying rumors, I don't know, that it was either Kaylee or Maddie that called 911 that night from the Moose Club. Is that what they told Adam about? And that this person was giving them a hard time? Were they at the Moose Club? Because there is stuff circulating saying that they were the ones that called 911. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just stating what I'm hearing. And that's, I guess, what we have to do because there's no transparency to us or even the defense. Makes you wonder what they really have. Makes you wonder what the defense really has in this case from the prosecution. The autopsy. There's another one. Red flags, man. I'm telling you, red flags. This stuff should be transparent. And it makes my mind go to all kinds of crazy places. And you hear crazy things. And then one thing, and Mabot, Mabit or whatever, the coroner, she said it wouldn't be relevant to the case. I've never heard anybody say that an autopsy wouldn't be relevant to the case. If anybody has, please comment and tell me you've heard that. Stomach contents. I'd like to know, and the defense should want to know, did Kaylee and Maddie have macaroni and cheese in their stomachs? That'd be very interesting to know. But of course, there's no transparency. I wonder if the defense knows that. Any of it. I don't know. Toxicology. Why are they being so tight-lipped about everything when they supposedly got their guy? It makes my mind go to a lot of different places. And I know I put out a video and I took it down because I was really tired when I made it, and it sounded crazy about the cougar. But let me just touch on it a little bit. I know it sounds crazy, but that door was wide open. There was a cougar spotted in the area that night. Bubbly Waters has a video on it. And no, not the cat coming down the stairs, but one in the yards across the street. And I've heard stories. And it all started with the Ethan story. But I'm going to look at it a little differently this time around. The door was open. I'm not saying that the cougar did all of it. I'm not saying that the cougar even killed him. But did the cougar smell blood with that door being open? Gashes. I heard some really wicked, bad things about Kaylee and Maddie. Now, that would really throw a loop into things if a cougar did get in there and had its way for a little while. I'm saying after. I'm saying after bad deeds were done. You never know. You just never know about these things, especially with the door being wide open and the smell. You know, they talked about the smell, how bad it was of blood. And there was a cougar in the area. I mean, I might sound crazy, and you know what? I'm not tired this time. I'm just saying transparency. Because if something like that did happen, the prosecution wouldn't want the defense to even know about that. Not even. Not even. Just think what they could do with that. I don't know. Spitballing. But from the things I hear, I have to at least, what I'm telling you, and I've always been honest with my crime family. And whatever my thoughts are, I'm going to relay it to you. And I hope my crime family does the same. And they do. And they do. They do in the chat and they do in comments. So I'd like to know your opinions on that. You know, just to know. The calls to Jack. I'd like to know more about that too. And they're not transparent about that at all. And does the defense have all the phone records and everything? I'm sure they could get those, right, on their own, right? I would think. I wonder what they got. It's just, you know, I'm very interested to know about those calls to Jack. They know the times and everything. They got that down. With the last one, I think goes at 2:52. And I just find it strange, really strange that Kohlberger leaves at what, 2:45? Around the time they're calling Jack. It's just a strange. There's so many strange things in this case. I mean, I thought OJ's case was bad, or you know, many cases I've seen. Casey Anthony. This takes a cake. I mean, it just can go any different ways, and when they're not transparent at this time in the case, what would to make it so there'd be a fair trial? Well, maybe they should move the trial if they think it's, I mean, because it's not stopping anything, it's making it worse because everybody's spitballing. If we knew, you would have our shows going this way and that way and this way and this way. We'd be talking about the facts. But there's so few facts in this case that it's hard. You know, of all cases I had to start a show on, you know what I mean? Crazy. But the calls, did they leave messages? Did they leave messages? That would be interesting to know. Oh, I can't wait till trial. Because there's just so much, and they have to be watching us YouTubers. The defense has to be, the prosecution has to be, because they want to prepare for what the defense is going to do. The defense, it's just like, I can't wait for that trial. The shoe print. What's up with the shoe print? You know what I mean? What the hell? I don't get it. I don't get it. Latent shoe print. And I've told you before, heard two experts say the blood doesn't work that way. Then why was it latent? Why wasn't there more prints? They talked about the overalls, you know. He ordered overalls and blah, blah, blah. You know what? That wouldn't stop the blood. It might stop some, it might get soaked, but it's still not going to stop what happened at that house. And people, I got comments on the 54 stabs that I said. And oh, that's not fact. That's not fact. Well, the receipt on that is from Annie Elise. Okay, that's where it came from. And she's got a friend that has a friend that her husband is an FBI agent that was there. And he told his wife 54 times Kaylee was stabbed. That friend told the other friend and to Annie. So that's the receipt on that. And that's a pretty, that Annie Elise, that's very good receipt. Okay. It's a very good receipt. Did they figure out that print? Did they figure out, you know? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get that. They have this man in jail. And it just smells of a cleanup and a staging. And I've said that for a long time, the staging. And I believe it is. I believe it was staged. At least the ones downstairs. It was staged. How much blood splatter was on the wall? I'd love to know about Ethan and Xana's room. And how did it look? People think I'm nuts about the Linda Lane thing. I'm 100% positive. I've seen it. I've seen the fights going on. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen what looked like to me Ethan laying on the ground. I don't think at that time I thought he was gone, but I don't think he was because he was beaten. He was beaten badly, they said. And what did Steve say? Oh, there was what, one hell of a fight or whatever down there. That was because he was beaten. And because I'm sure the blood, but I don't think he was taken out at Linda Lane. I think he was brought back to the house. And that's why there's all that blood. But I'd like to know, how the spatter was laid out. Because that will tell a lot. That will tell a lot. How much blood was on the floor will tell a lot in both rooms because those tell us about footprints if there should be footprints. Transparency, to me, I think that's going against. I think it's not helping Mr. Kohlberger at all that they're not being transparent and that there's a gag order. I don't think it's helping him whatsoever. If I was Mr. Kohlberger, I would say, I don't want a gag order. They're worried about, making him look bad. And, they're worried about the, fair trial. That's what they say. No, bunch of crap. That's what it is to me. It's a bunch of crap. It isn't going to do anything. Everybody knows about this case. And people do watch YouTube. They're going to have a hard time getting a jury. It should be moved. Actually, I don't know if they can move it out of state, but they need to move it. My opinion. And why was the sixth roommate not living there? That's another thing I'd like to know. She wasn't living there. Think about that room. We've seen it. We've seen it. We've seen golf clubs in there. They weren't the roommates. So why wasn't she living there? It's just a strange thing. And then why was that door left open? That doesn't make sense to me either. And that was seen by a neighbor at 8:30 in the morning. The door was wide open. Very strange. Why were they in the living room so much? Why were they investigating that living room so much? We seen it. Everybody's seen it. All our eyes seen that stuff. They were in there quite a while. They were looking down and they were taking samples and they were. Everything happened in those rooms. Why so much emphasis on the living room? Strange. DNA. No transparency whatsoever. That's just fuck Mr. Colbert or dry. No. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. I'm a bad boy. But what the hell? What the fucking hell? Was it sperm? Did they get this DNA from sperm? They said there was no sexual assault. That doesn't mean there wasn't sperm on the bed. Just means that, you know, they didn't do anything to the bodies. So yeah, I'd like to know that too. We'd all like to know these things. Yeah, and are they transparent about that? They haven't been transparent to the defense about that, about those DNA. I mean, that just came out not long ago. It's like they're trying to hold back information from everybody, not just us, the public. They're trying to hold back information from the defense. And that's like total red flags, man. Why can't Judge see this shit? I don't know. And how much DNA did they have from the start? How much of Brian Colbert's DNA did they actually have? I'm going to go over some things later at some point, and I'm going to show you something. And I think there's certain ways that I think that DNA could have, why that DNA ended up there. And that's another thing. The sheath. The sheath was, to me, in my opinion, was definitely a plant. I'm not saying by LE, but it was definitely a plant. And why? That's the question. Why? In my opinion, maybe it was to keep the eyes more focused on Kaylee and Maddie instead of Xana and Ethan. Maybe it was to make people think that everything happened at that house, because I do not believe everything happened at that house. I don't. I just don't believe it. Not from what I've seen with my own eyes. And why we haven't heard anything about that, the fights over at Linda Lane, is beyond me. Doesn't make any sense. They have to know. They have to. We talked about different things in the past. I've talked about phone calls. You know, a long time ago, months ago, I talked about, did they call Brian? Months ago on Rory's show, I do believe. But I think there's a little bit of a difference than what I first believed. For one thing, they would know if there was a call. from somebody on Brian's phone because they have Brian's phone. Unless there was burner phones and the burner phone got tossed. Yeah, I'm crazy. Things that go through my mind. I know some of the stuff is probably going to sound stupid. Whatever. But I talked about them phone calls. Could it be that they called him, the frat called him, on a burner phone? Was he part of a cleanup? Because who else could make that place that clean? Wasn't clean of blood, just clean of everything else. Who could do that? Who would know how to do that? And how did his DNA get on the sheet? He could have shook someone's hand. Could have been from a doorknob. I mean, so many ways that could have ended up there. Whoever planted it might not even have known his DNA was on it. They could have transferred it from shaking his hand. But there was no other DNA. And that's another weird, strange thing about this case. In my opinion, it went a lot later than people think. I think things were going on there a lot later, like the cleaning and everything. And that might be why the door was open, to get rid of the cleaning agent smell. I've stated that before too. But really, if you think about the gag order, one of the reasons that they would have a gag order still is if maybe they don't think that Brian really did it. Maybe he was a secret agent, man. that would fill in a lot of gaps. But again, spitballing. And that's all we can do. That whole crime scene, there's something wrong. I mean, little kids could figure this out. There's something wrong with the crime scene. And I can see why they're not being transparent. Because they're trying to nail the wrong guy, in my opinion. And I think they know that now, but they're not going to stop. It's not going to stop them. Isn't that sickening? To me, it is very sickening. And for the families to think that they got the guy, I just don't see how they think that. And that's, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe Brian did it in 8 minutes, 9 minutes. But I don't see that man being capable to do that. And I don't see the rage in him, because that would be rage. Like unbelievable rage 54 fucking times. That's unbelievable rage. And I just don't see that in him. There's others I could see. And I've stated that. I have my opinions on who did it. I do. Very strong opinions. And either it was kind of two separate things, involving some of the same people but separate. I'll get into that someday on another show. But you all know the players that I've said. You all know it. If you think hard enough, you'll figure out what I'm trying to say here. Two separate teams, but some of the same players on both teams. That's my opinion. But the transparency is a big issue with me. It's a huge issue, and being right or wrong doesn't really matter at this point. What matters is, fuck, man, be transparent. Be transparent with the defense. Be transparent with the people, with us, the public. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to hurt the case. Yeah, it might hurt the prosecution. Yeah, I can see that. But I don't think it'll hurt the defense whatsoever, unless he really is guilty. I think he might be guilty of cleaning or directing the clean. And I think it went a lot longer. And who knows who was actually driving that car? If it was Brian's car, who really knows it was Brian driving that car back to his apartment? He could have stayed there and helped direct the clean. I don't know. There's just so much about this case. It just, it just makes you want to go, Anyway, I feel rusty. I feel rusty. But I'll get back into it. There's another case I'm looking at, but man, that'll be a long ass video. That'll be about 4 hours long. But I'm thinking of doing it because it's a very interesting case. Others have done it, but not really in this community. And then there's another case that we're looking at. And then there's a timeline. We have this timeline we're going to be going over, and I think that's probably going to be the next show coming up pretty quick. So it goes. Anyway, until next time, rock and roll. Love you.
Me in the morning on a bright and sunny day. Yes, you left me in the morning on a bright and sunny day. You didn't wait for me, mama. You didn't even say goodbye. I tried so hard to be there by your side. I tried so hard there by your side, but you didn't wait for me, mama. You didn't even say goodbye. So hard to be there by your side. Yes, I tried so hard to be there by your side, but you didn't wait for me, mama. You didn't even say goodbye. Me in the morning on a bright and sunny day. You left me in the morning on a bright and sunny day. You didn't wait for me, mama. You didn't even say goodbye. I cried so hard as I stood there by your grave. I cried like a child as I stood there by your grave. Lost my last chance to say goodbye on that bright and sunny day.